folks. Welcome back to We the People. I'm Dave Gallus, and we have a special guest today, Eloy Francisco Macha, running for Las Cruces School Board District 3.
Dave, thank you.
Eloy.
Yes.
Now that's a name that it's not common around here. Now you're Peru. You came all the way from Peru, folks, just to be on our school board here, so take them serious. But we would say Eloy.
That is correct.
E-L-O-Y, but it's pronounced
Eloy. Eloy Francisco Macha.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Remember that, folks. Eloy Francisco Macha on the ballot. Okay. Eloy, you have a lot of experience, came from Peru. Tell us about your background and then how it would relate to you running for school board.
No, that's a great question. And Dave, thanks again for this invite. Over the last 25 years, I've been in the technology sector. I am a technologist. My focus is to look at the trends of technology, where they're headed, and their applicability into our industry or into society.
And that's looking ahead for education as well.
It impacts everywhere,
Sure.
all industries, including the education and us, society as a whole. So what's so interesting over the last 5 years, and we've seen this over the last 18 months more than anything, is that pervasiveness, but also the potential that technology can do so much good for our society. That being said, we need to start preparing for them. And we need to start looking at where it's headed.
And preparing our children.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what qualifies you for being a school board member?
First and foremost, I am a dad. I am a parent.
A parent? I mean, that's a qualifier right there. That's a good motivator.
It is. A grandparent as well. Maybe that's number 2. No, but it's also, if you will, looking at the background or the skills that we can bring to help the community. There's a lot of challenges that Las Cruces has. The state of New Mexico has. But if you see that opportunity in which your skill set can now provide, that benefit,
Sure.
Why not? From my perspective, that technology background and looking at where the future is headed, I believe is very, very critical and very impactful to the Las Cruces Public Schools.
Sure, I hear you. Now, I'm thinking of the characteristics of a person that would run for school board and what is the most important aspects that they can bring to the school board. I mean, some people think, oh, school board, what's that? It's a PTA meeting, but it's not. it's you folks set policy.
Right.
But what would you say is the most important characteristics and aspects of the job?
The first and foremost characteristic is to understand and listen to the community and being the voice of that community.
Yeah.
And actually articulating, if you will, those voices in school board settings. School board members are elected. They are representatives of the community. And they're not just representatives of those that elect for them. They represent the entire community. So here in Las Cruces, for example, we have roughly 120,000 people that live here.
Right.
These 5 school districts, each representative of that, each school member of that district represents they're all the constituents.
Sure.
Not just the 500.
They all get an equal vote when it comes to policy making and things like that.
They all equal say, equal voice, equal input.
All right. So there's 5 school board districts?
That is correct.
But they all involve the whole district, Las Cruces School Board District.
That is exactly right.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
the next qualifier on that is being able to understand the needs of the schools within that school district. Right. So in School District 3, it is Centennial High School, it's Arrowhead, Hillrise, and Sunrise. Okay. So I would be fostering good relationships with those principals and the families and the students of those schools, sure. And ensuring that they are adequately, given the resources that they need to be successful.
And represented. Now, I've been to school board meetings, and I can remember going to one school board meeting, well, it was not too long ago, when they were talking about the JBC policy, and it's like, which to me, as I interpret it, it sounds like critical race theory. And the place was packed with parents and concerned citizens, and the school board were dismissing what the people were saying. It's like, who are they listening to? That's really what I want to know, as I'm not a parent, not anymore that are kids in school, but I want to know that our students are going to be represented by people who listen to the parents and the citizens, and I haven't seen that before.
So that's an interesting observation. I've attended a few other school board meetings myself lately, and exactly how you echoed it. There is that public comment period, they call it, where the community is allowed to voice their opinions. And you have to wonder, are those opinions being actually heard and listened to by the school members? Are they taken into account such that in their forming of policies or resolutions, it is now, there's a direct influence of that. So there is this, call it a need of awareness to our community, not only to be involved in the school board meetings, but also to engage the school board members. As a school board member, I would have an open door policy. Okay. Everybody and anybody can approach me, and let's have a constructive conversation to ensure that we take your opinions, your voices, and make sure that they're heard in the school board setting.
Well, it's funny because when I went to the school board meetings, a couple of them, and I saw the climate, and it was not a good climate. It's like adversarial. And I think even the one lady, she resigned.
That is correct.
And some people aren't going to run again. It's like, I think, and I hope parents, you got to get to these school board meetings, because not only when you elect somebody, first off, you need to know who you're electing, and you need to know their background, and that's why we're trying to put this on.
That's right.
So once you do that, then when a policy comes up, and you must be notified, because I remember when they were bringing this JBC up, we're arguing the point, and they're saying, well, there's no sense in arguing because we already passed it. And it's like, well, where's the public input here? So a lot of people were upset.
Yes.
So once you elect the proper person, like Eloy, then you have to be there at these meetings to support whatever policies he is trying to present for you folks.
And that's called accountability.
Yes.
That is called accountability, transparency. And through those, you can then start building that trust and regain that trust of the community.
Trust.
That we have seen an erosion of that trust right now with our school board.
Oh, yes.
Especially seeing how a lot of parents are attending and voicing their frustration. They can't trust the current school board.
It defies logic. Why the school board members would defy the parents that actually spend the time to come to these meetings and send them emails and call them on the phone and tell them what they want, and yet the school board votes the direct opposite. So who is the school board listening to? Is it the unions? Is it the education, the hierarchy in the education departments and the state? I don't know. It's
Great
like
question.
it's all about getting out to vote for the right person, and then make them accountable. So they're going to hold you accountable, Eloy.
Please, please.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's talk about the programs that they have in the school. Now, obviously, your background is science and technology, and I would love to see that expand. So how would you present that? How would you promote that? How important is that to the students?
We need to start making relations, if you will, with the community, especially those businesses that are involved in sciences, that are involved in technology, and start encouraging, if you will, an exposure of our students into what those fields look like. In other words, we cannot teach the abstract anymore. We actually have to have that hands-on, especially in the technology field. Okay. There are 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, high school students. They're pretty adept. We don't give them enough credit for them to actually pick up a lot of those, life skills, if you will. So, from my perspective, I would love to explore an interesting partnership with the community here in Las Cruces, in which those businesses that are involved in technologies, that are involved in sciences, open up their doors so that they can expose to our students, our high schoolers, to give them a glimpse. This is applied science, applied technology. So that way now they can go back to the classroom and go, this is why I need to understand physics. This is why biology matters. This is now why I need to take calculus and so on and so forth. Making that relationship right there will go a long way. Think of Inception. Plant that little seed.
That's right. And not only that, not all students are going to be engineers. I wouldn't have been an engineer. I'd have been a better mechanic. But at least you're giving them an opportunity to see what's out there. And if we can engage our business community to actually do apprenticeships and things like that, where the students can actually have an expert in the field coming out, which we got to work on that with City Council as far as getting businesses here in Las Cruces. But, I had a fella came out who was an air conditioner guy, HVAC. He was training a student and paying the student while he was teaching him HVAC. I was one of the students. He's working on my air conditioner, telling me how to do it. But
just really quick to add to that, it's not just technology, exactly to your point. There's other businesses, there's other futures that our students can pursue,
right.
Vocational, technical, manufacturing and whatnot. We need to find those avenues so that way our students can understand why those are good careers.
Sure.
All careers are good careers, Dave. That is something we have to drive home. And our students need to be prepared for all those careers. They need to have that broad field, if you will. What matters for them? What is it that they want to pursue?
To me, when I see them wanting to change the name of a school, or they wanted to talk about critical race theory, this is energy that's wasted. To me, if we had the opportunities like you're talking about with engineering or technical skills or things like that, this is where, and Well, let's talk about what the schools aren't giving our students now, because I know that there's a big illiteracy rate, even when they're done college, that they could graduate, no, they graduate high school to go to college, they need remedial reading, math skills. I mean, what's more important than that?
I've spoken to a few college professors in which they've noticed the uptick, if you will, of remedial classes being taught at college, at Doñana Community and also at MSU. So that is an indicator that, spot on, are they truly prepared with those skills that they need to be effective and be successful in college? But notwithstanding college, it's also the community at large. In other words, we're expecting an 18-year-old to be able to receive a contract, read it, and sign it. Do they understand what they're signing? Do they understand and have they read all the nuances of contracts?
Can they even read it?
There you go. And so, I mean, now we're talking about those interesting skills that maybe we should also encourage and focus our students so that they're prepared for that.
Sure.
Reading contracts, navigating checkbooks, navigating finances. I mean, we're opening up, let's just say, there's a lot of things that can be addressed at the school level in our high schools to make sure that our kids are truly prepared so they can be successful wherever they want to go.
Life skills.
Life skills.
Skills that they can use immediately. I knew how to balance a checkbook when I was 19 years old. I got married when I was 20. If I didn't know how to balance a checkbook, my family would have starved to death. Or we'd have been in debt.
Yes.
What I don't think they understand either, when you get into this, could you teach the kids that compound interest works just the same as savings as it does in debt? You never get out of debt. Savings, you're always making money on your money.
Correct.
So that's just a request of mine when you get there.
By all means, David.
So how about the budget, the school budget? Is it reflected on what we want our students to be taught?
That is a great question. If you don't mind, that's an area that also I want to focus on, being in school district or as a school board member. The Public Education Department in New Mexico allots a budget to each school district.
Okay.
They go, hey, here's the budget based on these interesting metrics, student enrollment, needs, programs, and so on and so forth. Great. So the school district receives this budget. And if you allow it, the budget is up here, receives at the very top.
Okay.
The students are at the bottom with regards to how that budget is distributed.
Right.
Why do I say that? Is what is happening in the classroom. The classroom is the front line of education. Our educators and our students. The question is, do they have all the resources that they need to be successful in them teaching those classes? And I'm talking across all programs. We briefly talked about the sciences, technologies, academics. What about our gifted programs? What about our arts programs? What about all those programs that are truly needed for those schools? I've been talking to a few members of, community members about the gifted programs. If you look at the public education department and how they articulate the framework for these programs, it looks wonderful. It reads wonderful. But the actual implementation leaves a lot to be desired. So you have to ask, are the resources assigned from a budget perspective and all other resources properly channeled to that gifted program? So this is something that we need to look into. And as school board members, we have the right to be able to say, here's the budget, here's the front line, what is the direct influence?
How do we get that money right there?
Exactly.
Where it's needed. Because I know their administrative is top heavy. And they're talking about building a new school, I think it is. And how much is that going to cost?
This is Columbia. They're going to rebuild Columbia. The latest numbers is roughly $50 million. So you have to wonder on some of the decisions that have been made over the last 20 plus years as to who's really benefiting. Are our students benefiting?
Well, when I see they have drives to fill a school bus with the equipment, it's like, for the kids, it's like, wait a minute, you're looking for donations to take care of our kids. Don't we pay enough in taxes? Doesn't our natural resources cover a lot of that? I mean, I don't get it. I tell you what, I know you got a good answer for this one, but we got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to solve all these problems of the school board.
Sounds great.
Eloy Francisco Macha for School Board, Las Cruces School Board, District 3. Be back in a minute.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. That's 866-372-3669.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Do you suffer from rashes, dryness, flakiness, and thickness to the skin? 3A Research is conducting a trial of an investigational drug on plaque psoriasis. Subjects must be 18 years of age or older. This is an 8-week study. We will compensate you for your time and travel up to $225.
Enrolling participants now in Las Cruces. Contact our office at 575-288-1646 or visit our Facebook page at 3A Research or our website 3asites.com.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hi folks, welcome back to We the People. I'm Dave Gallus, your host. We're here with Eloy we say in America, Eloy in Peru, Eloy Francisco Macha for Las Cruces School Board District 3. So we're hitting a lot of subjects about school board, Eloy, and it sounds like you would be great as a member of the school board. You're right on. But we were talking about budget and how the money that the government has gets to the students. How do we get that there, and what would you say is off limits for budget cutting as far as schools? So
let's kind of go back a little bit, right? With regards to the budget being set aside, here's the schools, and actually the classroom. I remember 20-some years ago when my kids were in school, we got this little letter that said, hey, you have to go buy some school supplies. Okay. No, that wasn't interesting. As a parent, you go, oh, okay, that's fine. Maybe I need to do my little part, chip in, and so on and so forth. I heard recently here in Las Cruces that they had a Fill the School Bus campaign.
yeah, I heard about that.
Where they take this huge school bus, put it in some parking lot somewhere, and they encourage the community, hey, fill it up with supplies. It sounds great, but you have to wonder, are we mismanaging our budget for our schools?
You would think.
In other words, one of the requirements of our school district and our school system is to ensure that each classroom is properly resourced. Properly resourced not just with our educators, but also all the supplies and all the material and everything that they need so that the educator can be successful in them teaching their materials and for the benefit of our students. So although it sounds noble that we have, hey, let's go ahead and get all this school supplies in the bus, maybe that type of enthusiasm can be better used to actually benefit our students when, hey, businesses, let's open up your doors so that students can see what exactly happens in the world so that our students can see, oh, okay, now I know why I need to take this math class or this English class or whatnot.
And that wouldn't cost money. That would actually promote the businesses, and it would show the kids what the opportunities are after school.
It's a win-win.
So absolutely. And so, well, what would you say is where you would not cut the budget? Where?
The classroom. The classroom.
So the budget should go immediately to the classroom and work up.
So this is where it becomes a very interesting conversation. Here we are. There's a lot of interesting programs that the school, the public school system here has set aside. That's right here in the middle, in the administration building. You got to question, all of these programs, what is the benefit to a student in an English classroom, in a math classroom, in a sciences classroom, in a vocational classroom? We need to really understand what those benefits are. If there is a hardline benefit for those, then by all means, let's make sure that it continues. But if it's only, if it's just dotted line, you have to wonder, maybe we can collapse them. Maybe there's something to be said about merging some of those programs so that way, instead of a dotted line, it becomes a nice little hard line. Now, that being said, there are some programs that actually need to be enhanced even further. A little while ago, we were talking about the gifted programs.
Right.
In my opinion, I believe that is a very dotted line program that needs to be reinvigorated. And we need to ensure that that one has a lot more resources than what it currently has today.
I would think that a very important part is to engage the parents. To get the parents, you folks, you parents need to get into the school board, understand what's going on, get involved in your schools, look at your students' curriculums so you know just what it is your kids are being taught. Now, I realized we have a problem when both parents have to work, because it seems like the schools now are daycare centers, and that's a shame, but that's a reflection of what our financial problems are in our country and our state. But well, that's a different story. But the thing is, as much as you can, parents need to be engaged and know that the school board members like yourself want to work with the parents.
Yes.
And they want input from parents.
Yes.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. Are our students prepared to go out into the world?
I believe the answer is no.
I would agree.
Maybe there is a very, maybe the top 10%, the top 15% maybe are prepared, but what about the rest? So this is the question. Actually, you hit the nail on the head earlier with regards to the idea of a daycare center. Our schools are not daycares. They are not. So we need to shift that mentality that our schools are there to prepare our students, period. They're preparatory. They're preparing them with life skills, they're preparing them with everything that they need to be successful. And then with that, ensure that our parents, now if you will have and encourage them to be more involved. Yes, a lot of parents are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I know early on when my kids were in school, me and my wife, we juggled. We had to juggle night shift, third shift, graveyard shift. But we also were involved in our students' day-to-day, if you will, activities.
Sure.
So there's an incentive. Now, that being said, with technology, how it is today, we saw the rise of online classes. Well, maybe this is an interesting concept. Programs such as the Khan Academy, programs such as, learning that small pieces of very focused learning, maybe we need to start embracing that type of concept with some of our classes, such that our students can gain that knowledge, and then they just build it up. Self-paced maybe, but again, we need to revisit how exactly we can be more effective so that our students are prepared for their futures.
Sure. I look at a baby. When a baby is first starting to crawl, they're exploring everything. Exactly. They want to learn. They have a natural tendency to want to learn.
Exactly.
So it's kind of be up to you, as well as the parents, to really figure out what's the best way to give those children the opportunity to learn.
Exactly.
So, so we're talking about the future possibilities of students. We're talking about the finances in the school board. The school board does what? I mean, you set policy.
Correct.
But you also, how involved are you in the finances of how the money's spent?
They oversee budget. They oversee budget decisions, and actually they work very closely with the superintendent to ensure that resources from a budgetary perspective are set properly for individuals that are participating in the school system.
Okay.
So it is a very important subject that the school board members are involved in, and that one requires a lot of stewardship. It requires a lot of understanding of that impact and the caretaking of the finances of the school district.
So it seems to me like once you've appropriated the money properly, what do you teach the kids? And I'm thinking, when I went to Catholic school back in Philadelphia, it was math, it was English, writing, reading, it was American history, world history.
Correct.
To me, this is the basics,
Yes.
and yet I go to a supermarket, and if I give the teller some change, and they can't type it in on the computer how to give me a dollar bill back, they call the management. It's like these skills are not being taught our students. So I think that would be very important as far as skills.
Life skills. Yes,
Basic
sir.
skills.
Basic
We
skills.
talked about that. You know what? I just want to make sure that before we run out of time, that we know that, folks, it's so important for you to get out and vote in not only in our city elections, which include the school board district and school board district 3 that Eloy's running for. Now, early voting starts October 5th, and I would suggest that you get out to early voting. And if you can't get out to early voting, say you're crippled or something like that, the production manager will put my phone number on the screen. You call me, I'll get you to the polling place, and you can early vote. But also, the voting date is November 3rd. So it's so important that you get out and vote. Now, a lot of people don't come out because they don't think the school board district or the city council districts are important to vote for. Absolutely important. They're taking care of our children.
Yes.
They're taking care of our city. And we got problems in our city that have to be addressed. But right now, Eloy is running for school board district 3. So what would be the key accomplishments of the board during the years of service? What would you say if a person had their full term in office? What could they look back and say, I accomplished what I wanted to? What is the most important thing?
So let's make it personal. So I got elected. Now I got sworn in on the 1st of January. My priority would be to make sure that I start listening to the community by taking the school board meetings out of the administration building where it is today and moving it to the high schools, to the cafeterias, to the gyms, where the educators, where the parents, where the students are. And I would encourage participation of all of those communities in each of those high schools, in each of those middle schools, into the gyms, so that we start listening and fostering that relationship. That's first and foremost. If accomplishing that would be, for me, a huge win, number one. Wow. Huge win number two is start, or if you will, preparing and modernizing our school system for the 21st century. That one is not going to be overnight. I recognize this, I know this. Being in the technology sector over the last 25 years, it's going to take some time. But if we can clearly articulate what the outcomes will be and what the goals are, then we start setting up sound policies so that we can be successful 3 years, 4 years, or however long it takes. That one right there is my goal. That's my long-term goal, is ensuring that we prepare our students for the 21st century and our school systems are modernized to take the challenge of the 21st century.
Right. Okay. You budget the money properly, teach the kids what they need to know for life skills, give them the opportunities to make those decisions, and set up the long-term game plan. Eloy Francisco Macha, School Board District 3. It's in the southeast portion of Las Cruces.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Your name has been up there. When they want to donate to your campaign or help with your campaign, they can do that?
What I would ask of the community, I need your support. I need to be in the school board, to be your voice. That is sorely lacking right now in our school board, in our school boards. So with your support, with your help, with your vote, I will be your voice, and I will be accountable to the needs and the values of Las Cruces community.
October 5th, early voting. November 3rd, voting day. Be there. Eloy Francisco Macha in School Board District 3. Thank you.
Dave, thank you so much.
You bet.